pandemic trapped a bunch of aging role-playing gamers in their homes, forcing them to crawl out of their pen and paper comfort zone and into the online world of virtual tabletops and video calls. So join them as they raise the curtain to share their stories, insights, and love of all things geek. So grab your longsword and your +1 bottle of Viagra and get ready for another episode of Advanced Age Role-Playing Gamers Podcast. That's a lot of syllables for one sentence.
Hello and welcome to the Advanced Age Role-Playing Gamers Podcast, which is another installment of Meet the Cast. I'm Matt, and my co-interviewer today is
Sean, and we want you to get to know our cast a little bit better, and what better way to do that than to share some of their history with gaming and how it has played a role in their lives.
So without further ado, let's meet our cast member. All right, so go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys, my name is Anthony Cupo. My handle is Buzzardog Hydra. And
Jesus Christ.
I've been really excited to partner up with you guys, and we've been having a lot of fun, so I'm happy to do this. Thanks for having me on.
Cool.
I think I just gave 5 intros at once, but go ahead.
That's all right.
No, I got more intros for you. Don't worry.
All right, so I guess I'll start, and then we'll just we'll take turns. So when and what system did you first, start playing role-playing games?
So technically, my first role-playing system that I purchased was the Indiana Jones set that came out from TSR. And I didn't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons. I didn't know what TSR was. All I know is at the time, I was a diehard Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones fan. So, if it had anything to do with Star Wars or Blade Runner or Indiana Jones, I owned it. I probably had 2 copies of it, whether it was action figures or magazines or the playing cards. That was a big deal. And so when I was at, it's interesting. Okay, so back in the day, before Amazon, before Barnes & Noble, you had these smaller chain stores, and you had Walden Books, and in my small mall, there was Cole bookstores. And amongst the comics and what have you, I saw this box set, and it had Indiana Jones on it. As a matter of fact, hold on.
Oh, you still got it?
You probably still have. Tony keeps all that stuff, man. Yeah. It's behind his other Boba Fett. He has 50 of them hidden around the house.
I forgot. This is just audio, isn't it?
Yeah, but still, we want to see it.
So I walked away, and I went to my bookcase nearby, and I bought this.
Oh, my gosh.
And there it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's it.
So that's in great condition.
Yeah, so, and it still has all the pieces and whatnot inside, so...
Hey, Matt, I don't think he's even opened that.
That's right.
I don't think it's open. I think it's a classic. I think Harrison Ford's actually in there, carbonite.
He is. A lock of his hair.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
No, you know what? You're in luck. So we were checking today on the Free League Publishing website, and to ask them a question about our upcoming thing. They've got a new product that's coming out later this year, and I'll send you the link later. It's Tombs and Temples.
That's awesome.
They don't right, and the picture, they don't say Indiana Jones on it, right. But the picture is, so it looks like someone's created a new rule set that's kind of based around the Indiana Jones thing. So, hey, we know who's running the Temples and Tombs later this year, right?
Awesome. That sounds great. So, all
right.
So I picked this up, and back then it wasn't to play the game. It was just if it has Indiana Jones, I own it. Ha ha ha! I'm the king of temples or whatever, right? And so it wasn't until a little bit later that I finally got involved with real gaming, and the set that kicked me off or started me off was G.U.R.B.s. generic universal role-playing.
G.U.R.B.s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By Steve Jackson, I believe.
Yep, Steve Jackson Games.
So that was actually my first role-playing system.
So along the lines of that first, could you tell us, remember your first character and tell us about him? Because you went into your first role-playing system. That would be G.U.R.B.s, right? So you remember the first character you played, or that? Oh,
there it
classic.
is. See, there you go.
I got one. Yeah, I got one too back here somewhere. So
it's been a little while, but of course the first person that I got involved with, again, it was either Han Solo or Indiana Jones, and so the first character with G.U.R.B.s was sort of like this. It wasn't a smuggler, but it was this rebellion type. Outcast who was a mercenary for hire. And what was great about G.U.R.B.s, of course, was because it could lend itself to any sort of genre. The first system was a sci-fi system, and so I could be Han Solo pretty easily. So everything was like all the charisma points. His attributes were whatever Han Solo did. That's what this character did. So, I'm trying to remember his name. That's the thing. Because also keep in mind, like Buckaroo Banzai was out, so I was trying to be a little experimental. I can't remember. It'll come.
So was it Sans Bone Smuggler? Was that his name? You said he was experimental, and you were having wet dreams about Han Solo. So
I think it was Ricky Handjobs. I don't know.
Hey, Ricky Handjobs, we got a job for you. I'm right here, boys. I'll meet you in the men's room.
I'll take care of it in the men's room, the Peekaboo Lounge.
Bring your shame rag.
Oh my gosh!
But okay, Doug, that was G.U.R.B.s, and it was this sort of like a space cowboy, basically.
Cool.
That's cool, man. That's really cool.
So all of the games you've played over the years, do you have like a favorite character or characters that you've played?
So that's a really good question. So without a doubt, my favorite, and it probably still is because I just had the most fun with this character and this system. I was Shadowrun up and down all the time. As soon as I caught wind of that, I was fully on board. I understood the narrative right away. I loved it.
You goth bastard. Oh, Jesus Christ.
So my character, I think the character's name was Mr. Misty. And it was
Mr. Misty.
Mr. Misty.
Mr. Misty.
Did he have a band?
Yeah. So Mr. Misty was a technomancer, but he got cyber enhancement so he could basically morph into anybody. So this is definitely after. There you go. Yes. There we go.
Yeah. I never got the book. You had the book, Matt. I
couldn't afford the book. My buddy Feeney had it, so he loaned it to me, and I was working at a school, so I used the hell out of their photocopier and copied the whole book.
Oh, you bastard!
So, meanwhile, do you have the book? How much was it? Like $24 or something?
Back then, let's see.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? This says it's $49.
Well,
yeah, it was like $50 back in the 90s. It was not cheap. That's like $500 today.
$1 million to a kid, at the time. So
yeah. Oh my gosh.
So Mr. Misty, he was what I thought would be the ultimate assassin, and this is admittedly after T2. So he could morph into anybody he needed to get to his target. But the really cool thing that I thought up was I used all the magic. He used all the magic points so he could turn into mist. So he could basically get in and get out, turn into what he needs to kill his target, maybe assume their persona and just walk out of the building. So I loved playing that character.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool, man, and it's a good idea for a character, actually. So, what is your favorite role-playing game system? I mean, you talk about role-playing games, so what is the... Sounds like you like Shadowrun, but what was the favorite system you played in, of all the systems you played?
Yeah, it was Shadowrun because...
So it would be Shadowrun?
So,
okay.
You know,
Okay, that tells me how lame you are.
100%.
Okay, keep going.
So, no, but like Blade Runner comes out, and it becomes my new
I remember Blade Runner.
favorite.
Yeah. Because Harrison Ford's in it.
Well, that's why I saw it without a doubt. And what's weird is, so in 82, it comes out. I watch it because you're expecting it to be Indiana Jones, and it's something very stark. Complete tonality is completely. It's rather depressing and dark, but for some reason, I'm like, yeah, I like that world the most. It's dirty and grimy. It reminds me of Jersey City, my hometown. So that's where I want to live, right? And then Cyberpunk comes along, where it's Blade Runner mixed with Excalibur, with the magic and everything else. So I'm like, so the possibilities for storytelling were, I think, just really limitless. So that hit all the check boxes for me. So yeah, Shadowrun.
That's cool.
All right.
Have you ever seen the show? What was that, Sean? Is it called Burn Bright? No, not Burn Bright. That was the movie.
Brightburn. No, you're talking about the Will Smith movie. Yeah, the movie like you know what I'm talking about, Tony. It's
It's basically Shadowrun.
Yes. We're intermingling with orcs and other fantastical creatures.
Right.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it. I thought that was a pretty good film.
Yeah, it was. The film we can't seem to remember because we just are a bunch of morons.
That's the film, and Will Smith's in it.
And it's a neat film, and Will Smith's all right. And Will Smith, Mr. Smith, if you're listening to this, understand we think the greatest of you. It's it's in the tip of my tongue.
We can't put three brain cells together.
I also couldn't help but compare it to Alien Nation with James Caan and Mandy Patinkin. You remember that? So the aliens land, and James Caan is forced to team up with Mandy Patinkin, and of course they wind up bonding by the end of the film. But it reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah, it's a similar sort of the buddy film. All right.
Yeah, Bright. It's called Bright.
Bright. That's okay. Yep.
Just Bright.
It's called Bright because the magics are called Bright. And the thing is, it's a type of alert. So I actually had to look it up, man.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of all this crap. God, the guy's made a lot of movies. He's more than just the Fresh Prince, to sort of say.
All right.
Well, there's a show that we all watch, and Will Smith's like the executive producer. What show is that? It's not WandaVision, but there's something that we watch, and now I have to look it up. But anyway, if you're on his IMDb, look up shows that he produced.
Damn it.
One of the shows that we watch every week, Will Smith is like the person that brought it to TV, and he's not.
Note to self: this is what younger people get to look forward to. Just not remembering a gosh dang thing.
Because the problem is, as you get older, you see too much.
Right.
You see too much, and
I think that's important. I remember, I guess, which
All right.
Look, a producer. He's produced 44 shows.
Wow.
Karate Kid 2.
That's it. I think it's Cobra Kai.
Oh, he does Cobra Kai?
I think it's Cobra Kai.
Yeah, it's Cobra Kai.
Oh my gosh! So I haven't watched it yet. No spoilers. I'm saving that one up.
It's good. It's bubble gum. It's as long as you think of it as popcorn. Don't think too much about it. You'll enjoy it.
Right. All right. Well, let's see. Let's get back. What do we got here? All right,
Matt, you're good.
Is it me?
Doesn't really matter. I mean, we're on the real world experiences line if you want to give them that one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. So, Tony, what real experiences have kind of shaped the way you play RPGs?
I dabble in making films and productions once in a while. And so I see a lot of parallels there where you you got to get the GM has to get their story together and keep it somewhat loose, because that's the fun, is how everybody else, how the other characters change the story and make it evolve. And so it reminds me a lot of that sort of collaboration that happens when we're playing the game, but also happens in real life when you need to problem solve, you need to come up with cool things on the moment. And if you plan it out too much, you may lose an opportunity for something fresh to come in. And so that's what I really like about playing the game, is some of my buddies, Sean or Souza or Tier, might come up with something out of left field that doesn't make any sense, but that's the beauty of it. All of a sudden, it's like, that's what we're going with. Let's keep moving forward. And otherwise, if it's too structured, it could become rather stale. Collaborating. What do you call the collaboration? Getting prepared, with your characters, and as long as everybody's staying true to their characters, you could see a lot of unique opportunities. But when people start to sort of play it up too much or anticipate what other people are going to say, it becomes generic. And as long as people are playing their characters and being honest with their dice rolls, a lot of fun can come out of each experience.
Cool.
That's a pretty good answer. But I want more out of you. I want the truth. Damn it!
You can't handle the truth.
You can't handle the truth. And so, given how your experience, your time role playing, then versus now, do you think that role playing games are more popular today? And if so, why?
Well, today is the 17th of November. November. Let me take that again. So today is the 17th of February, 2021. And
this is quickly turning into like the Alzheimer's interview.
Guys, I think I got to change my Depends. Just a minute. Crap! It smells in here. Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
So this is the 17th of February, 2021. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. But what's interesting is, so it's easy to say that because of the pandemic, everybody's at home, and because of technology, because of this video conferencing, it's taken away a lot of excuses why I can't play. I'm home anyway. I might as well join in with my friends and have some a good time, where normally it's kind of hard to find a time once a month to get together, drive over your friend's house and do the same setup, where now I have friends who play once, twice, 3 times, 4 times a week, all with different groups, because they're home. And instead of spending an hour and a half driving to somebody's house.
And they're not married.
And they're not married. No children.
They don't have kids running around.
But however, even before.
Go ahead. Yeah, I just want to say, let me put a disclaimer. That is not a knock on marriage and kids. It's just a reality that when you're married and have kids, you can't play games 4 days a week. And if you can, you're going to be divorced soon. Take our joke. Yeah. Take my advice. Go ahead, Tony.
And that's the thing, because you're married, because you have children, you really savored that time to know that the third Thursday of the month was your day to go out and goof off or have some fun with your friends. And so now, in a way, it's just really easier to say, okay, honey, I'm going to be in whatever room playing with the gang. So, but I will say, really, for about 6 years leading up to this moment, a lot of my friends, some are on this very podcast, they started building momentum because again, playing as a kid, it still had all the stigmas that were associated with gaming. It wasn't popular. It wasn't something a lot of people could relate to. And now, just slowly over these years, in the dark alleys or, in the sub-basements of sub-basements, people are like, hey, do you want a game? And you have to look around and say, yeah, let's do this. And then...
yeah, man, let's take a hit of gaming. Come on.
Yeah.
First adventure is free.
Yes.
And thankfully, it's just not only grown with my friends, but the popularities, it's really starting to cross a lot of borders where people are just open to it. They're understanding it. But I think another game changer for me is D&D Advanced, Roll20, where for some people, part of the joy might have been spending all of Saturday building your character, where now, honestly, you could just go and within 15 minutes have a character generated for you, and you're in. You're ready to. You don't have to learn about every prerequisite to build your character. You don't have to have the phone book in your hand to do this. So I think the technology helped create a new awareness, but with video conferencing, it's just really fantastic how we can all jump in on a game, within minutes and not have to leave our home.
Well, Tony, you're talking about D&D Beyond, which is great. And, but I did have an image, where we talked about taking a hit of D&D, and I'm like, and I got this image of and for some reason don't ask me why, but it's Tyr in an alley going, I'll suck your cock for 30 minutes of 5e right now. Just whip out a D&D book, man. Oh, just going down. And that would be a hell of a comic. And I don't know why I made Tyr, because Tyr has probably the most fucked up facial expressions. Not that he would do that.
Well, all right.
He would do that.
So Cupo, I don't know about you, but I'm not sure how we got from there. Sean, you've just been trying to work in you picturing Tyr sucking someone's dick all night long, right? It's like
yes, I have. So each podcast I throw somebody under the bus, and this one's Tyr. So I mean, I got Matt, and Chris is easy. Chris is just so easy. I just I almost don't want to do it. So, but that's going to be edited out. And I wanted to say that. That's funny. It's funny to taking a hit for 5e. All right.
Not edited out.
So I guess so. Our next question is all right. So what are you playing or running right now?
Okay. So a year ago, basically, Tyr and Sean and Souza invited me to join this group, AARPG, and I was like, you sure? I'm kind of rusty. And they're like, no, we drink and game. It's going to be fine.
Yep.
And a year later, I'm just really enjoying it. So I was running some Shadowrun adventures 20 years ago. So I'm very happy to just be a player and contribute in that capacity. But I am starting to get that itch, as you were kind of alluding to. I'm like, you start realizing, it's like those muscles, those memory reflexes you just want. I'm saying that completely wrong. You get the itch to want to start running and getting a game going. So.
No, I get it. My wife coined a term when you have a kid. So when you get married first, you and your wife, you're doing stuff, but you have the freedom still. So sort of, because you don't have, you can go do stuff with your friends. You could take that separation. It's like, I remember me and you and Tess were talking one time about having a life outside your marriage where you do stuff, the wife and the husband, occasionally go with your friends, and then you have a child, and then that's it. That's the end of it, because everything's about your kids, right? And then you're raising them, and then they get to a point in age where you can leave them alone and they won't slit their own wrists or do anything accidental to themselves. And like with Braden, my son's 9, and Matt's kids are, he has 2 that are around the same age, without getting into details. And of course your daughters are older than that. So it's like getting back into freedom. Like my wife doesn't stress as much about me doing this because there's not so much to do, because she has a lot to do and we're not as busy as we used to be dealing with our kids,
Yeah.
not in a fashion as in raising them, dealing them, because they're sort of a little more self-sufficient. So I agree with you there. I think that there's something to that. And if there's anybody listening to this, if he's young and doesn't have kids, it's going to come. And when it comes, you're going to hate it, but you'll get used to it. Then one day it'll be over. So,
Yeah,
and you know, but
Cheery parenting advice from.
Yeah, but you'll be focused on your kids, and that's wonderful. Don't get me wrong, but it's, you know, the stuff you give up, it does irk you once in a while, and it irks us all because you miss that, especially when you got guys like Tier, like, hey man, I'm going to be gaming down such and such. Not like you bastard. I just, you know, I'm at home for kid vomiting on me. I broke my toe, and he's talking about how he's going to go out and go party. I'm like, I hate you. Hope you die.
No, but that's a valid point. I find that you get married and you know, it's like you said, Sean, you're all in for your children,
your family.
But as they get old, you start seeing the goalposts. You're like, okay, and in this case, it's like I can game now, and it's a big finish line. You know, it's great.
Yeah.
I also wanted to say one other thing is as far as like running games, just like Matt and Nathan, it's like back in the day, here's a big difference between then and now is it really is so much easier now than it was back then, because back then I was literally drawing maps, drawing characters and scenarios, and getting getting the grids out, and so people can play. Where fortunately, there's so many great companies that. What's it called in real life? Was it
cartography?
No, so if we were actually in the same room together in real life. There's actual physical models that you can buy that are.
Oh yeah, they're the companies that I know what you're talking about.
Right,
There's
so many great.
There's several companies that make things you can pre-order. And of course now you can 3D print things if you really want to.
Right. So when we ever do get back together in person, Nathan's had a 3D printer for several years.
Oh my God.
And so he's printed out a ton of stuff. I have another guy I play with.
Oh my God.
He's got like two of them running, almost like constantly printing out like tiles and stuff, dungeon tiles. So no, the technology is really, it's come along.
Tier has one too.
Does he?
Tier has a 3D printer too. Yeah. And he has his set up in the basement. I don't know. I think he's done a couple things with it, but nothing too much.
Well, my thing is like,
I mean, I make guns with mine, so I'm just saying. Oh, wait a minute, ATF, no.
Edit.
That's right,
I don't have a 3D printer, so
okay, John.
And all my guns are registered.
Okay, John Malkovich. What was that? In the Line of Fire.
You're talking about Reds?
No, Clint Eastwood and John Malkovich is the assassin. Remember?
When he was, John Malkovich. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about being John Malkovich when they were sliding into his brain, which was a very good, well-acted movie, I must say.
Well, in your case, it's Being Lord Ireland.
Nobody wants to be me.
I'm going to slip into this brain. Like you said, Dwarven Forge.
There's Hero Forge. Hero Forge makes the characters. Right. Dwarven Forge.
But then, like you said, you got magnetic ones that snap together. You have all these. They're so detailed. Like, why would you 3D print it when it's all like ready to go? Unless you have, of course, a special character that you want to customize yourself. And then online with Roll20, there's these maps. The technology in Roll20, Nathan's really crackerjack at like adding the lighting effects and revealing maps. There's a lot of different ways of experiencing the role playing, and again, your wife and family is just like, where's Dad? He's not an hour away. He's in the basement doing this thing. So I think that's great.
No, that's cool, man. So is there anything else you'd like to share for our listeners during this brief interview about the life of Don Cupo?
Brief interview that's a half hour long. Just that I am looking forward to the adventures. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go. And then with our group, it seems like it's eventually is going to expand and have, in completely different genres and characters. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this all goes. And I'm really happy to be on for the ride.
Well, that's great because I quit now. I'm done. I did this. I got this all set up to screw Matt all up. It was a whole plan all along. Nathan knew about it, by the way.
Great.
I'm putting Nathan. He actually suggested it, and I'm sending. I also have Chris's resignation right here. I'm going to fax it to you real quick. Because I want you to see this to physically cry at tears and see it. But no, that's not it. But okay, so that's going to wrap up our session of Meet the Cast. Thank you, Tony, for sitting down and sharing your personal gaming story.
Thank you.
And Matt, if you want to close it out, go ahead.
And thanks again to you listeners for tuning in to the Advanced Age Role-Playing Gamers podcast. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and play games.